Okay, welcome to MSUA Game Changers webcast, where we speak with satellite and mobile connectivity thought leaders about industry trends and share what you need to know about the future of mobile satellite communications. I'm your host, Roger Lanto, and I'm excited to introduce Cami Zimmer, Chief Business Officer of Glympse, the location collaboration solution for business applications. Glympse is an MSUA member, newly minted this year, exploring the increasing importance of satellite connectivity across a wide range of logistics-related business applications. Glympse brands its technology Rendezview. I think that's a relatively recent phenomenon, and Cami can talk about that, and has pioneered location integration in a variety of verticals, including supply chain, logistics, field service, retail, you name it. Again, Cami will tell us more. So, hey, let's dive in. But to get some context, please tell me a little bit about your personal journey in the satellite and location sectors. How and when did you get started?
Sure. Thanks, Roger. And I'm very honored to be doing this. We are a new member, and we attended the event and the luncheon a couple of months ago in March in Washington, D.C. So thank you for having me, and we are very happy to be a member. Basically, for my personal history and Glympse as well, I think it's been probably about 15 years. And much of that goes back to our connected car space. Glympse and myself, I've been here for 8 years now, but that's kind of where I met you, was in that connected car space. Glympse was years ago embedded on the infotainment system of the cars for location sharing while you were going from point A to point B. And so that's kind of where Glympse in general, as well as myself, kind of has our roots within the satellite side of things. So if GPS isn't available, then we can utilize the fact of the satellite.
But wasn't Glympse more of a B2C service originally?
It was. Its history comes from 2008. And if you think back in 2008, it was before mobile phones came out. I'm sorry, not before mobile phones, before the iPhone came out. And it was actually before Uber came out. So location sharing from a BlackBerry phone, right? Kind of the utilization of sharing your location with anyone utilizing any type of IoT device. We've taken it over the last probably 12 years and really focused on the enterprise side of things. But we still have this location sharing mobile app that is used by millions of people globally.
But you've really, as I've gotten to know what you've been doing at Glympse, when you move more directly into that space, it's really hardcore B2B stuff now.
It is. It is. Actually, the consumer app is kind of services by itself. And we don't really make all that much money from it. It's not our business model. Today, we work with companies like Charter Communications. We work with True Green. We work with Williams-Sonoma, Crate and Barrel. We work with steel companies as well. And the use case is taking that location sharing and having it have a purpose for the sharing of a technician, the sharing of a big and bulky product that's going from point A to point B. And most recently in supply chain and logistics, we're serving turn-by-turn notifications for drivers on a port or drivers on a steel mill, and or kind of bringing all types of visibility. And I hate to use the word visibility, everybody uses that, but kind of a proactive way of letting people know where some type of an asset is.
Okay, this is the moment, Cami. This is where the story will finally be told. Tell me about the steel industry and how you discovered this opportunity and what is the nature of it.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah, I just got back from a very large steel show in Nashville just this week. So long story short, we are live today with a product that is.
Cami, we don't want the long story short. We want the short story long.
All right. Oh, you want the short story long. Okay. 2 years ago, almost to the date, it was April 2 years ago, we had a transportation supervisor at a steel company, one of the largest steel companies here in the US, come to me basically with a cocktail napkin. Can you do this? And it was basically written out on a piece of paper. And I looked at it and I shared it with my CEO, Chris Ruff, and I said, I don't know. This is not anything that we don't know the steel industry, right? And Chris immediately was like, I don't think we're going to be able to do this. But what we did do is we went and took a tour in Indiana, the two of us with our hard hats on, and we went and we toured the steel mill. And all of a sudden we thought and we realized, and Chris said, we can do this. We can utilize our Glympse platform to go ahead and take what we do in the B2B space, and we can actually help provide a bit of a way better safety solution for these steel mills and ports and manufacturing facilities.
Okay, so now you're painting a picture in my mind of the location of everything around, not just a point to point of one thing to one place.
Correct. That's correct. So yeah, exactly. So think about it this way. A driver carrier comes on site. It can be a port, like I said, a port, a steel mill, a mining. It can be basically the Amazon facility. And they go to the weigh station. And most of the times these are not mapped areas, right? So they don't know where to go. And if you think about it, some of the drivers speak English, some don't. There's language barriers, but more importantly, it's a safety issue. They just don't know where to go. And if they go down a road that ends, it's really hard for them to turn around, and it's even more difficult for them to back up. And it's a very, very much of a safety issue. So we're giving them on their mobile phone turn-by-turn directions in a web-based view that are unique to their pickup. And it's the exact turn-by-turn directions that they need to safely pick up what they need and then depart to go deliver that product.
So maybe you've already answered this question, but come along with me here. How have the location requirements evolved over time with Glympse in the B2B kind of world?
Yeah, basically what we've seen, so I've been at Glympse for 8 years. What we've seen is one-to-one location sharing. So think about, we'll put it into perspective. Let's say you buy something at Williams-Sonoma. You actually have the location sharing of a one-to-one. And what we're seeing today is the need from almost every single industry that we talk to have that location or that asset, the visibility of that asset be shared by more than one-to-one. I just posted something on LinkedIn and I tagged you on it actually. It's the ability to have an asset, and the asset can be a person, a place, it can be a person, a product, a car, a truck, whatever it is. But the ability to have many people see where that is. Does that make sense? And I can kind of give you an example.
Well, and I'm also thinking in this current challenged trade environment, shall we say, I think over the past couple of weeks and months, there's been a sudden need to know where everything is. And what I'm clearly alluding to here is not just devices or things that are on the ground. Some of these things may be at sea or in the air. So what are we talking about? Is Glympse capable of addressing that kind of a challenge?
We are. And actually, that's one of the reasons that we are working and join this organization is exactly that. I think I mentioned before, it's not enough today to just passively track something, right, with an asset, with some type of an internal system. So customers today are demanding that proactive shared visibility, not just for internal teams. And that's where it has changed. Your original question is what has changed? Maybe it's tracking a shipment going over the ocean. The internal teams can see it, but today the partners, the customers, the field personnel, all of these people want to see that as well. And that is where the shift has gone, once again, from one-to-one to one-to-many. And that's where I'm bringing it up. I'm calling it, and it's just me calling it, the rendezview approach to something. It's that one-to-many. And that is something that, again, it's something that we can do here at Glympse. And when GPS isn't available, that's when we would need help with the satellite side.
Please tell me you've trademarked that by now.
Well, just last night, I actually spoke with my CEO and CFO, and apparently somebody else has it trademarked in Canada, but I'm not giving up, Roger.
Okay. Now, any organization that's moving connected vehicles or devices around is essentially creating a kind of a sensor network that's telling them every day what the quality of the cellular connectivity is, because they know where they're losing track, of their vehicles, of their devices. Have you had some experience of that, in your history at Glympse?
Yeah, we definitely have. It's one of these things where I want to say we're quietly been around for. We weren't quiet in our early days with the consumer app, but the last 8 years that I've been here and the company's been run by Chris Ruff, we've been a little bit more quiet, not quite as shouty on things. And these are capabilities, like you said, that we have been doing. We probably just haven't been very loud publicly speaking about it. And we're at that point now in the industry where this is something that is just kind of, many people are starting to talk about it now. And that's kind of one of the reasons that I'm being a little bit more shouty about that kind of stuff. So.
And when I asked that previous question, I was thinking about the poor coverage of cellular in certain parts of the country. And certain parts of all countries, especially in some countries that have extractive economies where you have raw material coming from remote locations to metropolitan areas between which there may be no cellular coverage at all. But of course, we're also talking about products, goods, vehicles moving across oceans and continents. Is that starting to work its way into your conversations with clients?
It definitely is. How do I say this? It's May 7th, right? Something changed the last probably 2 quarters where all of a sudden it's really making the way into conversations. Whereas before, I think it was, oh, that would be a nice to have, right? Today, it is, I need to have this. So it is making it quite a bit. And it's literally been, again, probably within the last 5 months, that's really been more talked about over and over and over again.
Well, it would seem to me to be a need to know, but particularly in some sectors where these goods may have some significant market value, and hey, where is this stuff? Where is that vehicle? To say nothing of maybe even issues of vehicles breaking down or emergency response, things of that nature. Are there any interesting tales to tell of location tracking from your time at Glympse? Untold stories of Glympse?
Untold stories. It's like a secret. What's kind of been interesting for me is to look at it. It's not a good story. I'll come up with a good story for you here because I'll get you a juicy one. But what's been interesting is to look at some of these industries like the oil and gas industry, right? In the past, I've been told, oil and gas is, oh no, we can't have visibility into it, some of these roads and stuff like that. So more and more of these industries that were maybe a little bit more private are now coming to us and saying, this is what we need. This is what we need. And as far as a juicy story, I'm trying to think, well, this is a good one. We have the consumer app, the one that I was telling you about that Glympse has been known for years, and many people use it. It's a temporary location share. So some of the juicy stories is we have many people using that consumer app that are like food trucks. We've got quite a few different people using it for location sharing. And because we don't keep the data, and most importantly, we don't sell the data like many of our competitors on the consumer app side, we get quite a few people using the app that we probably shouldn't talk about.
Oh dear. I was just going to say, I haven't seen Glympse mentioned on a Dateline episode yet.
That's exactly right. We're with the consumer app, again, we are a temporary share of location, and after 48 hours, we get rid of the data. So if anybody came to us from Dateline or anything like that, we would say we do not have that data and we don't sell the data. So,
but Glympse is hardcore B2B now.
We are, yes, our business model is we do focus on the consumer app, but our business model and 99% of my attention goes to the B2B space. Yeah.
And what are some of the sectors that you've essentially gone to industry events, focused on? So for example, I did notice from your posts on social media, you were at this steel event. Any other, sort of vertically oriented events that you've been attending this year?
Yes, I have been at an organization called Manifest. It's supply chain. So I'm heavily focused on supply chain right now. Supply chain touches everything. So I think I've been to Vegas 3 times in 6 weeks, I think at the beginning of the year.
For
So,
business purposes.
yep,
Okay.
CES, started the year out at CES. And then went to the World of Concrete 2 weeks later. And then
Concrete.
Concrete.
Yes.
Yep.
Is cement, concrete, same more or less?
Yep, I think it's well. If you ask the experts in the industry, they might say differently, but yeah,
Timing is very important in that sector.
I think so too. Yeah, apparently, and now I could be wrong about this, but I believe that there's only like 90 minutes from the ready mix from the time they start, the movement of things, so they can actually have to start pouring it. And so just that visibility into letting people know when that truck is going to show up, that's kind of the use case there, is just kind of giving people visibility so that people can get ready for when, in this case, the cement is going to, start coming out. But it was also a crane thing. So we're talking to crane companies on the fact that they need to know where these cranes are going from point A to point B, if they're very expensive, and they can use asset trackers. But again, providing that rendezvous approach to let many people know where the crane is so that they can be ready to accept it. And it's operational efficiency.
So you can't get that name in the US?
I know, I'm trying. I just checked it out last night. I'm gonna figure out a way to do it.
Okay, I love it. All right. So last question here. What's next for Glympse? What new spin is Glympse going to put on this solution, on this story? I see it as kind of a journey. Things have changed considerably since you joined the company, and you and Chris, who's not with us today, but it's just rewriting the Glympse story. What's happening next?
Yeah, I am really excited to say that we're truly focused on the supply chain logistics industry for this year and into next year, obviously, because all the challenges that we're hearing and facing with those industries today are real. And of 17 years of being in this location space, the Glympse company, we're prepared to give our customers a way to navigate this, I guess, changing industry. And so our mission has always been to remain open to all forms of technology to track people, assets, and products that are in motion. And we're going to continue to push that envelope and using satellite as our next major platform. So that's what I'm really excited for, and that's where we're going next.
Okay, well, welcome aboard. So let me take us out here. I want to thank the Mobile Satellite Users Association for hosting these sessions. You can learn more about MSUA at msua.org. You can learn how to get our weekly newsletter that gives you updates on everything that's happening in the industry and shares information about upcoming events. And you can also find out how to become a member, which will make you eligible to apply for one of our innovation awards. We look forward to seeing you next time on MSUA's Game Changers webcast. Cami, thank you very much.
Of course. Thanks. Thank you so much for having me.